Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel. Today we are here for a slightly different review that I'll make of a Parker pen because this review will not have writing sample. And I will not do it because this is a pen that I bought some years ago and it found a new owner and I never used it so far, so I don't think it makes sense to use it before sending it to the new owner. So sorry, there will be no writing sample. I wanted to say this up front, but let's see what is inside. So the pen that I'm showing you today is the Parker 51, the special edition released in 2002, and the color of this one is the Vista Blue. And so let's check what we have here. So this comes inside this cardboard box that has some scuff to it. It's not that resistant. Then we take this out and we have a beautiful, beautiful pen case, but we'll go there in a moment. Then, beneath the case, you have the Parker 51 Special Edition 2002 and with World's Most Wanted pen. And you have to do this to lift this little fabric thing to access the booklet. And you have, let me take this carefully, you have this booklet which has some information in many languages, including Portuguese, about the special edition, the original Parker 51, the special edition, and also about the filling system and how to operate the pen. Then you have a polishing cloth that was never used here, and even below there that you have a box of 5 Parker Quink washable blue cartridges. So let's put this stuff inside again because we don't need it, and let's take a look at the pen. And here we have it. So the Parker 51 was released initially with this kind of box. We usually with a hard case made of metal, and it was covered with this kind of fake lizard or snake skin, and it has the vintage font for Parker, and it opens like this. It's like a clamshell case, and then you have the pen inside. This pen is very beautiful in my opinion, and here on the inside of the lid you have Parker 51 Special Edition. So just you will not get this case as if it was a vintage one. So this pen was released in 2002, as I told you, and I bought it around 2005. I think it was around that time. This pen has a very special feature. First, it was a very limited run. I don't know exactly the numbers, but it was produced in 2002 and I don't think it was produced later, so it stopped. And it was available in 2 colors. One was this Vista Blue, and it was also available in black. The Vista Blue had this silver cap. It looks like there are some imperfections, but they're not. I will just show them to you in a moment. And it was available in the Vista Blue with the silver cap. It's not marked as silver, so I'm not sure if this is solid silver, but or at least how high is the content of silver here, but definitely there is some, and it has tarnished a little bit because it was unused for 15 years, but you can polish it. That's why it comes with a cloth. I never did it, but you can do it. So the black one had a similar cap, but with some vermeil details. And about the details, let me show. It looks like it has lots of scratches or something, but let's see. This is how the finish looks. And what is this? This is a vintage look that was first released in 1945, and it was called the Icicle or the Empire State Building, because if you look at this part with stripes, it resembles the silhouette of the Empire State Building in New York. So it was named like that. The details of the pen, let's take a look at them. It has this jewel on top of the cap, quite similar with the vintage jewel in my opinion. Then it has a clip that has the same kind of look. It has smaller letters there. It has the blue diamond, which when this pen was released, the original version, it meant it had lifetime warranty, and it has the arrow clip with this beautiful cap. On the band there is nothing engraved. Then you have a quite beautiful blue or turquoise barrel, and on the bottom you have another jewel. These double jeweled pens were available in the first editions of the Vacumatic filling style. I don't have one of those, but I have a later Vacumatic style that had this blind cap. So the first ones had, instead of this kind of rounded end, they had a jewel there, so they were called double jewel. Imagine like that. But this one, because it is a cartridge converter, it makes no sense to have a blind cap, so it doesn't, and it is like this. Now, you uncap the pen just by pulling it. It fits in place by friction fit, and you have a hooded nib like the original version of the Parker 51. So what you see is a very, very small nib. I would say this one is a fine or a medium. I'm not completely sure. I never used it, so I don't really remember, and I have no information. And here, on the end, or on the mouth of the barrel, next to the clutch ring that is also present in the original Parker 51, you can see Parker 51, and below it says Made in UK. So the pen is very beautiful in my opinion. You can unscrew the barrel, and there you will access the converter that comes included with the pen, or you can use the Parker proprietary cartridges that were provided with the pen. So this is a nice, beautiful pen in my opinion. I really find it very interesting. These cap, the original ones, are so sought after that it is quite hard, and they are very expensive to find. But of course, if you are willing to spend lots, but really lots of money, you can find an original one. But this is not an original one. This is the version from 2002, and it is also beautiful in my opinion. If it was not tarnished with this natural oxidation of silver, of 15 years of oxidation, you would have a much nicer pattern and a very good contrast with the gold colored clip. Now, let's go for some comparison. Here you have that Parker 51 that I showed you. This also has the same kind of clip. In this case, the blue diamond is no longer there, but it says Parker. You can see the letters in this one seem to be a little bigger, but the style is the same. And this is a sterling silver cap, which with a different design. But there were available other designs. For example, this pen, this also old Vacumatic Parker 51, has also the blue diamond clip, and this one is in pretty good shape, you can see there. In this pen, the blue diamond is smaller. It was available later in some aromatic filling systems. This is a teal one, which is a beautiful color, but more simple. And you have this one that I showed you before a couple of times, which was my grandfather's. So there are lots of variations, and in this pen they decided to make the homage of that older version. If you don't want to spend the money that a pen like this costs, and today you can find it on eBay for over 400 euros, you can find this pen. But if we are talking about looks, we are not talking about the brand or how the performance will be. You have a very nice bright one. This is a Hero 616, and this is the doctor version or the jumbo version. I'm not really sure. Let me see. No, it is the 616 Plus, and it comes also in a bright blue, but not as bright as the original Parker is not as bright as that one, but it is brighter than the teal. These kind of colors are very difficult to show in camera as they are. Now, some more details about this pen. Let's go first for the size comparison. I have here a Parker Centennial Dufold Blue Marbled, and you can see the Parker 51 is a little bit smaller and thinner, and you have the Lamy Safari. This is the aquamarine from this year. This is how the Lamy looks uncapped, how the Parker looks uncapped, and how the Parker Dufold looks. So this is a smaller one. The nibs cannot be compared because you're talking about a hooded nib, and they are different pens. Now, let's just address some controversial about this pen. This pen had some issues that people mentioned along the time. One thing that is very common to be told about this pen is the thickness of the barrel, is that the barrel is thinner than the barrel you find on the Parker 51s, on the vintage ones. It is made of acrylic, not lucite, but just a single change in material. And the first runs of this special edition have a thinner barrel. You can see in this one the thickness of the barrel is quite similar to the thickness on the original Parker 51, which is good, because the first run of these had thinner walls on the barrel, and when you unscrewed a little bit tighter they would crack. Then Parker fixed it and they increased the thickness of the barrel, and then the problems didn't happen anymore. I didn't show it next to the real Parker 51. I'm saying real, but they are both real because they are both Parker 51s. You can see they are very similar in size. The pen. This is one of the controversies, the problems with the cracking barrels in some cases. There is also another detail, is that it has the same closing system as the Parker 51. I'm not sure if I can show it to you, not with this lighting, but it has some, I would say, like some fingers that catch the section and fix it in place. However, those kind of fingers may scratch, you can see there, slightly, very slightly, but they can scratch the barrel where the section, I think it is visible, where they grip, but that's how things go. You can polish it and it will come off quite easily. You'll see lots of people saying that in the online. They just rub it and it becomes okay again. And one thing that is advisable to do is not to twist the cap as removing it and just pulling it straight to avoid to make more scratches around the section. Now, the other controversies, and those are more interesting, but these will be addressed in a future video where I'll talk about the new Parker 51 edition, is that this pen doesn't have the true Parker 51 nib. It is a different nib, not quite a tubular nib. It had a different shaped feed. The collector inside is not the same and the filling system is not the same, so it is not a real Parker 51. Okay, let me tell you. The Parker 51 was made by Parker, so it was a Parker 51. This is a Parker 51. And this is also Parker 51 because this was made by Parker and they called it 51, so it is the real thing. Some people say it will never be the real thing because it doesn't have the original filling system. But which filling system do you consider to be the real filling system of the Parker 51? Is the older Vacumatic system? Or when you change from the Vacumatic system to the aerometric system, we should assume that these are no longer real Parker 51s because the filling system is different. Or even with, it was not successful, yes, but when they started making for a very short period, but they still made the older style Parker 51 with cartridge converters. So even a cartridge converter Parker 51 is a Parker 51, in my opinion. Now, the inside is not the same. We have to think that, okay, there are lots of ways of looking to this. You can look a pen at its construction. And if you look at things concerning their construction, things are not the same. And that is true, I agree. For example, a camera from the 1970s is not the same kind of camera that you get nowadays. But if you have a Nikon camera, I'm not sure how to pronounce it in English, but you have a Nikon camera, you will have different cameras from that time to the current ones. But they are both Nikon cameras. And the difference they have is not the older one is best or the newer one is best. They evolve with time. One thing about the filling system, Parker decided that the logical evolution of the filling system was to go from the large capacity of eyedropper pens to still the large capacity of the Vacumatic, and then go to the aerometric, which was simpler and more durable, and then they had a little time with capillary filling system, but it was just a model, and then they went to the cartridge converter and stayed there because it was easier, cleaner, and so on. So, in my opinion, this is a Parker 51, a real one. The kind of collector is different, some things inside are different, but that's how the technology evolves. They went for a Parker 51 in terms of design and the homage about the history, and I think that they did well. So, this is a beautiful pen, a beautiful color with this double jewel and this nice little nib, and beautiful. So hard to catch because of the tarnishing. It looks scratched, but it's not. You can see it here. The reflections are very hard to catch on this pen. This is a beautiful pen. So I like it a lot, but I never used it in 15 years, so maybe it really makes no sense to keep it in my collection, and maybe it will go to someone else to use it every day, or at least more often than I did, which was never. So, this is all I had to show you. Quite a long review for a pen that was not that has no writing sample, and but I had to address this kind of controversy it had, and I have to say this pen had lots of controversy back then when it was released. It was not a success next to the owners of the old stuff. They criticized this a lot, but today this pen is quite collectible. So I think that's how evolution goes. We always think that change is not that good, and we wish things were as they used to be. But I think that's life. So this is all I had to show you. This pen will show again in the video I will make about the new Parker 51 that will be released in February 2021, and then I will talk a little bit more about these kind of controversies. And this is all. See you next video. Bye.